My name's Jonathan. I'm 40 years old and I have FH. I have a family history of FH. Most of my older family members were diagnosed in the mid-'80s and put on statins. I was also diagnosed in the mid to late 80s, around the age of 13. But I was not put on a statin at that point. I was just told to try diet and exercise, and my LDL levels remained around in the 300s throughout my teens. Once I went to college and then off to work, I never went back to a doctor. And so I ignored the high cholesterol. And there wasn't a lot of emphasis for me to go back and do that. So unfortunately, at the age of 28, I had a heart attack, and that's when the treatment really started. So unfortunately, you get thrown into having to pay attention to diet and exercise, on a statin, several other drugs to manage that. And it's scary. And you have lots of thoughts of why me, but when you really think back to it, it's very clear that it's a genetic disease or disorder. At that point, since then, my cholesterol levels have been great, managed properly by consistently taking my medication. And then in my 30s, I met my wife. And that's not really something that you have conversations about. Hey, do you have high cholesterol? I kind of knew about her family history, and obviously she knew I had a heart attack. But we didn't put two and two together, not that that would have mattered. We fell in love and got married and had a child. And wonderful little Max that we have. He's 8 years old now. But unfortunately, he has HoFH. So I contributed my bad gene. Erin contributed hers, and so he has HoFH. Learning about HoFH was really eye-opening, because throughout the 80s and 90s, and even when I had my heart attack, nobody used the term familial hypercholesterolmenia. So him being diagnosed with HoFH was really the first time I heard the term FH. And it was eye-opening, even though I had gone through what I went through. And luckily, his pediatrician caught it very early. He was starting to show tendons, xanthomas on his wrists and ankles. And the pediatrician had seen a picture of that from a textbook way back when he was in medical school. And luckily, he asked us about our family history. And from that point on, Max was diagnosed. It's been quite an adventure since then, trying different medications with a 2 or 3 year old and figuring out how do I get this medication even for him to take it. He's not going to swallow pills. I invented interesting ways of administering medication, crushing it and mixing it with a little bit of sugar so that he would take it. And now he is facing apheresis. We're going to start him on apheresis, even though there's some new medications out there. For us right now, this is the move that we want to make. And so I think the lesson to be learned here is that you can be armed with the knowledge that you have family history. You can go through something dramatic like having a heart attack, but you don't always put those pieces together. So that's why the FH Foundation is here to help educate people and get awareness out there, not just for families, but also for the physicians that are seeing these patients. There should be certain, even simple clues like family history and asking the questions and getting a very simple cholesterol test to determine who else in your family has that.